Welcome to the Mills Knows Bills podcast. My name is Mills Bender. I'm the founder and CEO of Mills Knows Bills, where we help you, variable income earners, master your money in 90 days. The point of this podcast is to help you make the most of your fluctuating income so you can stop living paycheck to paycheck, pay off your debt twice as fast, and get on track toward reaching both your personal and professional financial goals. Now, as I continue to grow my team here at MKB, you may have some guest hosts from time to time. However, our goal does not change. Whether we're bringing in a guest speaker, having an in-depth conversation about our personal finances, or talking about a topic that is of interest to you, our goal is to help you master your money. Welcome back to the Mills Knows Bills podcast. I'm your host as well as founder and CEO of MKB. I'm Mills Bender. On this podcast, we answer business owners' burning financial questions. Each week, we have a different guest who owns their own business, and they have a burning financial question that, once answered, will help them propel forward in their business. With us today, we have the one, the only, the amazing coffee-preneur, Eric Rowell. Eric, thank you for taking your time out of today. Please take a moment to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks for allowing me to just come on here and hang out today. Basically, my name's Eric Rowell. I am in the coffee industry. So basically, I wasn't one of those people who my grandmother told me that I made great coffee and just wanted to go launch this business. I was into real estate and I seen that the coffee industry was profitable. So that led me to start a coffee trailer, and then one coffee trailer turned into 10. And now we have several brick and mortars and have started franchising. So that's a little bit about that.
I'm so excited for you to share more about your model afterwards. This is just the coffee brand alone is cool. We'll talk about that in a second. But before we get there, what is your burning financial question that I can answer for you today?
Yeah, so I think like a lot of entrepreneurs, like you wear many hats and you're just trying to figure it out. So for me, the whole tax financial side of it was, what can I learn on Google, or who's inside my network that can kind of help guide me? So I want to say that my question is going to be, you work with many other types of companies. What is the most common thing that you see that new entrepreneurs and business owners are not performing well or have not implemented into their business? Or it's kind of like one of those things where if you can go back and tell somebody that's been in the game for 2 to 3 years, say, hey, look, if you would have started this sooner, it would have propelled you forward.
There's 4 things.
Okay.
So the first thing is that there's no financial game plan. A lot of the business owners that are just getting started who hire me have no idea where they want to go. And as basic as it is, they need to have a budget. But I'm not talking Dave Ramsey budget. I'm talking, this is where I want to be 1 year from now, 5 years from now. List out the revenue that you're making, what you're spending. And you might not know all of the exact answers, but having something at the end of the path to give you an idea of where you're going will help you make different decisions rather than just taking whatever comes your way. So that's number 1. Number 2 would be the bookkeeping. A lot of the clients I work with have untimely, inaccurate, or just non-existent books, which at the end of the day, like people preach having updated books all the time for your taxes and all that. I actually look at your bookkeeping and specifically your profit and loss as an indication if you are on the right track. And so your profit and loss, therefore, should be very detailed. Don't just say you sold coffee. Say that you sold this many smalls, this many mediums, this many larges, right? Let me have the breakdown of where you've been, because then we can look at where you want to be and then start bridging the gap so that path becomes clearer, right? The third thing is no saving. They're taking every single dollar that they are making and they're reinvesting it back into the business. At one point, that's not called reinvesting. That's called being broke, straight up. So what I encourage my clients to do is, especially as they're getting started, set aside 1% of your revenue each week into a separate account to slowly build an emergency fund. Once that 1% is no longer painful, increase it to 2%. 3, 4. Get to the point where you are setting aside 10%. The reason why you want savings is because halfway down that path, you're going to come up with either A, an obstacle that you were not expecting, and you need to come up with some lump sum of money, or B, you are going to have an opportunity, but that opportunity takes cash. If you don't have the cash, you can't capitalize on that opportunity. So set aside a little bit of revenue, beefing up that savings account, so that way you don't need to slow down your growth. You get to just keep moving forward. And then the last thing, and this tends to come a little bit later than just the beginning stages of the business, but once you start having more consistent revenue and you have some pretty profits at the end, start the process of getting a line of credit. A lot of the business owners I talk with say, well, I don't need a line of credit. That's the perfect time to get one, my friend. Because if you don't need one, you are more likely to qualify for one at a better rate, might I add. But if you are already in a pinch, it's going to be a lot harder to qualify. And if you do, it's going to be at a higher interest rate because you need it. So have a budget, have those updated books, making sure that you are using them in a detailed way, comparing it to your budget, start having some savings, and then of course get that line of credit down the road so that way you can maintain that future progress and you don't need to tap into your savings when those future opportunities come up. You already have some money in the background that will hopefully cost less than what that opportunity will generate you.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I think it's crazy that you say a lot of those things because I had to learn some of them the hard way. You know, the bookkeeping piece of it, it's like, man, you just want to kick that can down the road and down the road. And then it's tax time and it's like, man, I wish I had did this 12 months ago. So, I learned a lot of these the hard way, basically have to do them. One of the pieces that I'm not currently what I would like to improve on is making sure that I itemize out each one of those products better because, I feel like I'm among many whenever I say that I like to just classify them in bulk categories because it's easier. It takes less time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably definitely a piece that I need to implement immediately. But yeah, I'm also working on, putting some financials together for a bank currently, just like you were talking about build up that nest egg. I had an opportunity that presented itself probably about 2 months ago to build out a flagship location. And, if I wouldn't have had some of those savings put back, it would have been like, non-existent.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you had the savings. That's awesome because now you're able to take advantage of that opportunity. And, a lot of the clients, again, only look at books for tax purposes. But if you change your mindset as these books are going to, if I look at them, help me with better decisions in the business, it makes it more desirable to do them too. So if that's a mental hurdle that you're trying to get over so you can start having more detailed categorizations, I would have you focus on the output of it rather than the input. That's all.
Yeah. Do you typically recommend people to start with QuickBooks, a third-party service agency? Like, what is your recommendation there?
For new businesses?
Well, for existing businesses, because that's where I'm at, and I've been doing QuickBooks, but I've been thinking about outsourcing it from doing it in-house.
Are you doing your books yourself?
I am currently.
Absolutely not, Eric. Absolutely not. No. You are the CEO of your company. It is now time for you to take off that financial hat and have somebody else do it for you. Whether you hire somebody that's a VP through Hire VP and have them manage it so it's still kind of in-house, or you hire a different agency to do it for you. But no, it's crazy because when my company started doing bookkeeping as an additional vertical, 66% of our clients moved their bookkeeping over to us. The only 33% who did not move it over to us were ones who had an in-house controller already, but they were not doing the books themselves. The ones that were doing the books decided, I'm going to take this off because they were doing it the same way, right? As a result of offloading it, they've had more time to bring in more revenue and have strategic conversations. And they've had the opportunity to make more data-driven decisions because they're not just categorizing it for tax purposes only. So whether you outsource to somebody, hire somebody as a VP, or hire somebody internally, I definitely think you should take that off your plate, because you have things on your plate that only you can do. Bookkeeping, you don't have to do. That's a skill set that somebody else can for you.
Right. In your experience, what do you see as far as a lot of times you'll see CPAs or
Mm-hmm.
tax accountants that prepare taxes at the end of the year? They offer that type of service. But, from what I've seen in my experience, a lot of the tax preparers that I've went to, they're like very reactive versus proactive.
Yeah.
If you combine those two services into one, do you typically see a gap to where people aren't very proactive and you keep them separate, or would you recommend keeping them together?
I think separate them
Yeah.
personally, because a CPA's role is to file your taxes. They don't need the data to help you project, right? And so as a result, they're going to do the same thing you're doing, categorizing them with minimal detail. Because frankly, for taxes, you don't need a ton of detail. But that reactive data is not going to tell you enough of a story of where you're going. If you have somebody who's doing the bookkeeping for you every single week, that's a requirement for my team members to make sure the books are done every week, because we look at the accounts every single week. Reason being, then we're looking at updated data. We can then project that data with updated information. And so, frankly, the reason why I brought on bookkeeping as a vertical is because every single bookkeeper or CPA firm that offered bookkeeping that I spoke with all said, yeah, no, I'm going to keep updating them monthly, and it's going to be 2 weeks after the month has already ended, because
Right.
that's not their area, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said outsource it or bring somebody on in your team that's going to do it for you, and they're going to do it weekly. No one else will.
Right. What does that onboarding process look like, for you and your team specifically? Is it like you need prior taxes and then, 2, 3 weeks, a month type thing? What does that look like?
For transitioning bookkeeping,
Yeah.
it's typically bringing up the year to date. So getting the financials for that year to date, access to all the bank statements for the year that has already passed, and then opening, if you already have QBO, it's making us your new accountant. And then it's
Okay.
a streamlined way from there. And any firm can do that for you too. Even if you bring somebody in-house, you just give them accountant access to your QBO. They'll already have access to your statements, and your bank statements will be the only thing that you'll need to provide if they don't already have access to those.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Get the budget and get categorized. That's
Mm-hmm.
where my gap is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and I'm saying absolutely because that's the common thing that I see for everybody, regardless of industry, regardless of company size or years in business. It's something that people forget because it's basic,
Right. Are thinking that you can, do it all yourself, and then you start growing to such a point to where your
Yeah,
buyback time is, more beneficial over here than wearing 20 hats.
absolutely. And listen, I own a fractional CFO company. I don't do my own bookkeeping.
Right. Should tell you something.
I don't. I'm not the person logging in and doing the books. I'll do my budgeting because I'm also the CFO of my company, but eventually I'm going to hire a CFO to oversee my fractional CFO company. It's just
Right.
every business owner gets to the point where they're like, this is too much to handle now. And it sounds like this is your opportunity to alleviate some of that. But
Yeah.
I want everybody to know more about Grit and Grind, because first of all, the company name Grit and Grind is phenomenal. Also, I've had the coffee. It's very delicious. Please tell us more about what you do and how people can partner with you.
Yeah. So like I said, it was very organic. We started this thing and we figured out a really cool playbook recipe guide, and then we started licensing our brand, and then started creating this community where we ultimately give opportunity to other entrepreneurs. A lot of people come in, they don't want to grow and spend 3 years trying to learn all the things that we've learned and we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars doing. So they come in, they align with our values, we give them a playbook, and then they're able to go and open their own Grit and Grind. So we're now franchising and, kind of going all over the Southeast, and we're in Utah. So definitely looking to expand to more states in 2025. But if anybody's interested in having their own coffee business and would like to partner, we have applications on our website, which is gritandgrind.coffee. And again, we're just trying to build a community and make sure that, we bring other entrepreneurs along the journey with us.
So cool. So you're looking for people who want to own their own franchise. Do you also have investing opportunities too?
Yeah, we have a business model that allows investors to come in and work very minimum on the business and hire like a manager
Okay.
type style role, because like I said, we have everything. It's kind of a playbook system, done for you. So there's that option. But as far as like just outside investors, no.
Okay. And how can somebody buy your coffee? Do they have to go brick and mortar? Can they order online?
Yeah, so currently it's brick and mortar. They have to come into one of the stores. We are actually looking to launch our online ordering software platform, and that should be up and live in about 2 to 3 months. So that'll be also available at our website.
Perfect. So by the time this episode airs, it should be close to the time when people can order coffee online.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
really excited.
Yeah, it'd be right around Christmas too.
There you go. Perfect. So what was the website one more time?
Gritandgrind.coffee.
Gritandgrind.coffee. Well, thank you so much, Eric, for taking time out of your day. I've really enjoyed speaking with you. I hope that you got some little nuggets to help you move forward. And I'm excited for when that online platform is launched.
Yeah, sounds good. I appreciate you.
Thanks.